All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Basically, what I wanted to discuss with everyone today is powder coating or paint for your 80cc or 66cc motorized bike. So, to be honest, it's completely up to you, like whatever option that you choose, right? Whether you want it painted or whether you want it powder coated. Now, with me, I have been down the different routes of obviously paint and powder coating as well. So, to be honest, I have had my bike completely shot blasted or sand blasted, is what you call, and I have had it completely powder coated. But you can go down the cheap option, or what you think is cheap option as well, of having it painted or even doing it yourself. So, to be honest, like I said, it's completely up to you. And I just wanted to go through some of like the pluses and some of the negatives about having it painted, for instance. Now, obviously, when you start off with your motorized bike, you can just use basically near enough any sort of mountain bike or sort of Schwinn chopper bike if you want to do something like a little custom built chopper, or even like a guy that I know, Michael Stevens on Facebook. He's created like a bit of an eccentric, really cool, different design of like sort of BMX sort of style of motorized bike. I think that's pretty amazing. It looks really cool. Like I said, what you can do is go down one route of either painting it all up, but a lot of the bike frames, they're actually aluminium. So if you are going to sort of start painting, you can either paint over the paint that's already on there, but to be honest, the best thing to do is just scrape it all down to bare minimum of nothing and get down to the alley frame. And basically, with all bike frames, they are aluminium for a reason. They're lightweight, and obviously they're very sort of resilient to sort of like wear and tear, whatever. But yeah, when you are sort of custom designing your, say, motorized bike, and obviously you need to paint over aluminium, you need to use like a super etch primer. And the reason being is because obviously if you use any old primer, it would just like chip off or scrape off or flake off. So I mean, me being a sprayer, I was a sprayer for 7.5 years, and I know a lot about different paints and finishes and whatsoever. But like I said, you've got the option, but with powder coating, you can say custom build design your own bits out of metal. You can fabricate different things like what I've done. I've done like a number plate rack. I thought that was pretty cool, like a backing plate. So obviously you can go out and go on eBay and find yourself a little custom number plate, whichever you want put on the back of the bike. Me on my first and second motorised bike, I've got Dave D1 and Dave D2 for my red and blue bike itself. So I thought the better way to support that number plate was obviously make a little backing plate out of a bit of scrap galvanized steel that I had laying around in the shed. So, like I said, you can custom make little bits, even out of different metals as well. They don't have to be exactly the same. And once you send that off to the powder coaters, they will shot blast and sand blast that completely clean to clean all the surfaces of any sort of rust or dirt or whatever. And then you can have them all to match, whether it be aluminium or it can be galvanized steel or it can be, say, even normal steel. So after that, you can use stainless steel nuts and bolts to make sure that obviously your bike looks really good as well, and it's completely like kitted out to the max. But yeah, without that, I wouldn't really go down the spraying route. I mean, I know a lot of youngsters that are interested with these motorized bikes. They sort of think, yeah, if I get a couple of tins of spray paint and I'll spray paint up my engine and I'll spray paint up my frame, and obviously I'll try and buy custom bits to make it match and make it look pretty, really good and whatever. I'm not going to deny it. It's a good way to start out, and obviously it's a bit of a learning curve. So if you want to learn from something like that, then yeah, have a go by all means, without a doubt. But one thing that I don't really like is people that criticise their works. I mean, like you got a lot of youngsters that they really want to get started and they don't want the bog standard sort of frame. They want to make it a little bit better looking. And obviously, once they get started out in this sort of like field of hobby or enthusiasm, they want to sort of like sport it out a little bit and obviously make it look a little bit more better in a way. So there's always room for improvement, to be honest. So if you wanted to sort of go the extra mile, you can always have bits powder coated, as I say. So what I would do is, if you're really, really interested in having bits like this sort of made and obviously like fabricated, you can just practice on little scrap bits of metal that you have laying around. And if you don't have bits laying around, then obviously if you go into, say, like a scrap dealership, you can walk in there and ask them if they've got any spare bits that you can just maybe work on, and just ask anyone that you might know. Maybe even your family might have like a little workshop where they've got like little drills and obviously a bandsaw, or maybe even like anything to work with, basically, like tool wise. So spanners and like say hammers and God knows what else. You can sort of like create anything to your heart's content, and obviously anything, like even for instance when I was doing these bikes, everything that I was planning out, sort of like the ideas were to go out and do like a little mini vlog sort of style. I wanted to introduce different ideas with it. So I thought I just want to do something different, and obviously do something a bit more creative and productive from the just bog standard stuff that you see on YouTube, like where people will just say, oh yeah, this is this, and obviously this is how you do it. No, I wanted to do something where I show you where you can go to different places, you can buy different components. And I've even had a few comments recently on a few other videos, like, I really like that rack that you put on the back of the BBR tuning frame. It's different, but like I said, I mean, this rack, I found it was aluminium, yes, and then obviously like when it was coated in a very hard acrylic paint, I don't know what was on there, but I did actually have a chance of sandblasting it myself, and it took forever. So like I said, I got a few components that I wanted to obviously set for the bike. I made like a little sketch out of what the bike looked like with the frame, and obviously like the wheel design, and like even the, say like the back sprocket. I thought I'm gonna match that to the bike itself, and obviously the number plate for the backing plate as well. I thought, yeah, I'm gonna do that like the same color, and I've done it on both different bikes, on both the different bike frames, like the BBR tuning frames. But I mean, to be honest, you can also do a different thing. Like for instance, if you go out to like a market, or you even see on like a Facebook marketplace, or you even see on eBay, if you see like an old like custom sort of like bike that you see, you think, oh, do you know what? Like, even like a rally chopper, that's something what I'm really into. I'm really into like the really old school sort of frames as well. So if you do see something that's obviously a little bit pitted or a little bit rusty or a little bit this or whatever, you think, do you know what? I want to create something that's completely different, and you can have that bike completely restored, and you can do it all yourself, but very cheaply. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. With my bikes, when I was doing the powder, like I wanted the powder coating done, I managed to get the sandblasting and powder coating done for £100 per bike. So £200, I got myself like an amazing looking sort of project to put together. And the hardware was so cheap, like the nuts and bolts was stainless steel, but I managed to get them very cheap. You can go down the routes of even getting galvanized like nuts and bolts, but they do tend to sort of rust sometimes. So if, say for instance, that you wanted to say like have it out in the weathers, like the cold or obviously like the damp and whatever, they will tend to sort of like, where you've over tightened it a little bit, maybe too much, then obviously you might cross thread some of the nuts and bolts, like the fittings, and obviously like that will get to the elements, and that will start to go rusty. But anything stainless steel, I mean, like it lasts forever in a way. So even like compression fitting washers, and obviously like nuts and bolts, like Allen key ones, yeah, go to town with it. And it's really, really cheap. You can get yourself a packet off of eBay for cheap enough anyway. But if you wanted to know the nuts and obviously the bolts and the thread sizes, everything is already on your engine as basic. So like I said, the second that you either get one of these cheap engine kits, you can pick one up for about £65 roughly, or maybe even go a little bit further and maybe get one for like 150, but they are going to be exactly the same. So a lot of people like tend to think, oh, Bikeberry is a very bad place to get an engine, and do you know what? That's your opinion, okay? But other people that maybe find eBay might be like a bit of a bad choice of engine, then you can go to Amazon or maybe AliExpress. There's so many different ways, or like you can get one of these engine kits yourself. And a lot of people do keep asking me the similar sort of question. Dave, if I get my motorized bike engine and obviously the actual bike as well, can you build it for me? Well, I could, but that means that you're not actually going to learn anything from me. I would really love to obviously like send you some of these like sort of ideas and designs, but to be honest, it needs to come from your head, not mine. And like I said, I mean, I could build you these bikes, but to be honest, you need to understand that, for instance, if you are out miles and miles away from your house and this thing breaks down, I mean, you could phone me up, but I won't be able to come out to where you are because obviously I'm busy doing other things. So to be honest, the best thing to do that I noticed as well is learn a bit about these things. And the only way that you can learn about it is basically put it together yourself. And I mean, it takes roughly about an hour to build one of these things. And it's really not that hard. Seriously, like to put the engine on, it's 4 little nuts and bolts. And obviously like the hardest part that I would have said is more fiddly than hard. It's basically sorting out the back sprocket with the sandwiching and obviously the nuts and bolts that have to go through to the spokes. And obviously once you sandwich it, you've got to get the right compression setting, otherwise it's going to snap the spokes or bend them. But like I said, I've got other videos as well that show you how to do a better design by getting a disc brake wheel, tapping and drilling out the actual like sprocket, and that way you can adapt the sprocket to fit on the disc brake mount for the actual hub. So it makes basically life a lot easier when you're bump starting the bike, or if you're just starting the bike by pedaling and then obviously let the clutch out. the engine's not going to start ripping the chain across to the spokes and obviously start damaging them. Also, the amount of force with these engines, like, I mean, I know it's a small engine, but the amount of power and torque that you get through the back wheel, it's not really for that sort of design. So you can get a back wheel hub adapter, but they do sort of cost a bit more money. So you can get yourself a brand new back wheel with obviously a dismount for about £30. I mean, that's cheap, that's really cheap. And obviously once you get your sprocket itself, you can either get like a 36 tooth or 40, I think it's like a 42 tooth. And if you go to do that from the basic kit, then obviously it won't be as quick, but the 36 tooth sprocket, they are way quicker. So you get a lot more top end, like a lot quicker. But yeah, I would have said that if you really, really want to delve into sort of like the creativity of the different sort of paints or powder coats that you might think of, have a little sort of sketch. Always make yourself a little sketch. You don't even have to be great at drawing, as long as you've got like the sort of colours that you can get from even like a pound shop. You get a rough idea of what sections you want what on the bike, and obviously you can send other parts away from like even like a chromium place, so you can have bits chromed or chromium dipped, and they can really stand out as well. Like I said, there's loads of different accessories that you can get for your bike as well. But if there's any ideas that you guys want to shoot across to me, just give me a shout and put them down in the comments, and then I'll be able to get back to you as soon as possible, without a doubt. I know that I've got a great friend, Alex, on Facebook, and also he watches a lot of my videos on YouTube. I'm very, very, very happy with all the support that you guys have been giving me over the past. That's why I thought I'm going to bring out a few more motorised bike videos, because you guys keep asking me as well all the time. So do you know what? I'm very, very grateful for all your support. I really do, really appreciate it a lot. And obviously you need to understand as well that in my spare time, I'm going to college, I'm doing studies, and obviously I need to look after my family. So like I said, I can only do what I can when I can, but the advice and the tips and the helpful stuff that I can give you, like I said, just write down in the comments. Whatever spare time that I've got, I'll put it to the side and answer you guys straight away. All right, but yeah, seriously, if you're thinking about having your bike powder coated, have a little look on Google and do a bit of research. You might even find that there's a sandblasters and powder coaters right near you, and if you want, just go in there. They will be very friendly, because obviously it's a great business, and the finish is going to be absolutely amazing. So think about it. If you get yourself like a BBR tuning frame or Skyhawk frame, or even like a mountain bike frame, and you think, I really don't like the colour, I just don't like it, I hate it, then what you can do is obviously have a think in your mind exactly what colour that you might want to do it in. I mean, you can have it in yellow, you can have it in green, you can have it in black, white, grey, whatever colour you want. So to be honest, right, it's down to you at the end of the day. And remember, it's your design, it's no one else's, right? It's completely your own creation from your mind, and you're the one that sets out these ideas, right? And to be honest, it's completely how you want your bike planned out. And even when I'd done my bikes, I've had nothing but good positive reactions, right? Positive looks. And when I was thinking, I want a sky blue version, I want a red version as well. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people that they've got so many ideas, and they say to me, how did you manage to do this? What, you built this yourself? Like, oh my God, wow, what? And when I tell them that, do you know what? I've not just built it, but I've custom built things on it as well. I've modified bits as well to make it not just go faster, but obviously to look great in a way. So it's like very sporty. So like I said, any ideas that you have, write them down on a piece of paper, because that's how even I started on my YouTube. I thought, I'm just going to write my ideas down, see what works, what don't, because obviously not every idea is going to be perfect, okay? So yeah, write your ideas down, even like do a little sketch, and when it comes out, you'll feel a bit more positive about, you know what, I like this idea, yeah, or I like that idea. It's completely up to you, all right? But like I said, if you have any ideas or any questions, just fire them away, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But I hope you guys have a really good afternoon, and it's been lovely talking to you all right? Take care.